All right, what is going on, everybody? I hope you've all had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We're back with another Commitment of Traders Report Analysis uh, on the 28th of May 2017 for this week. So, as usual, we start off with the Australian dollar. They have gone, the commercials have been net long for around 2 weeks now, and the large speculators are still net long too. And it seems like the small speculators have gone net short. So I will take buy points in the Australian dollar. This looks like this is a very good and very strong buy signal. So I'd buy on dips. Um, we see that they tried to short last week, but it didn't really work out. It's I see more upside for the Australian dollar. So I'd take buy signals on that one. British pound. It has come down nicely as expected last week. The commercials again this week. I think this is the most short they've ever been for the entire year. Last year too. Yes, it is. I mean, this is extremely short, and I think they are going to cross the zero line. And I'm expecting a lot of downside for the British pound. So we could see some sideways movements in the pound, but I'd sell rallies on that. If you guys missed the move last week, we talked about this in our previous weekly analysis video. Talked about shorting the pound. If you guys didn't catch that move, it's all about being patient. Retracements always come, and you can enter on retracements. Never chase the price. Let the trade come to you. So I'm really short the British pound for now. Canadian dollar. This is completely relentless. They're piling on to the Canadian dollar like there's no tomorrow, and I do think that this signals higher oil prices. Maybe not right now, but there is a strong buy point coming for crude oil very soon, next couple of weeks. Because I mean, if they're putting their money into assets which are uh, which are influenced by crude oil, that means they expect higher prices for crude oil, because crude oil is what moves the Canadian dollar. So I think we will see higher oil prices, but not from this point, not yet, not now, because the commercials, they like to get in early, and you know that. The euro, again, extremely short, and this has been really stubborn, very resilient to come down. But I think it will eventually come down and come and fill this gap. When, I mean, it's been like it's been really resilient. It's very frustrating too. But it seems like the small speculators are buying this market now for the last couple of weeks, and the commercials are really going net short. This is the most net short they've been all year. So I think we will see some downside in the euro. Japanese yen. Uh, Again, nothing very clear. I do see that they have reduced their longs by just a little bit, but this is fairly long. Like this is a strong level. We were this long over here, where prices rallied. So I do think we may see some choppiness back and forth, but I do think there is one more rally for the Japanese yen. May come all the way back here to fill this gap. So I'll be looking to buy the yen very soon, and we'll see what happens with that one. Swiss franc. They reduced their longs by quite substantially. So I mean, nothing really clear on the Swiss franc. It seems like the small speculators have really gone long here. It's the most long they've been all year. So any buyers of Swiss franc, be very careful with that. They're still short, but we could see one more rally and then a downward move, but this is really mixed. So I have not a very clear opinion on this. US dollar. Again, they're slowly buying this market, and looks like the small speculators are going short. But it's again not very clear. So I think we will get a buy point in the dollar. I think it's coming because they are buying this market, slowly for the last couple of months, and we see some consolidation here in a green candle. So we'll see what happens with that one. Mexican peso. We're not as short as we used to, but this is quite short. Uh, they've been for a very long time, so this is still fairly short. And this trade really has been very, very frustrating. We were buying USD Mexican peso, and the thing kept dropping. So out of all of our trades last week, this is probably the one that didn't work out as we wanted to. But I'm still fairly confident that the Mexican peso will short. So I'll be looking to buy the US dollar Mexican peso. New Zealand dollar. Again, they're not as long as they used to. We did see some upward movement, and again, it's very mixed, but I still see some upside. Maybe take out these highs and then come back down. But it's fairly uncertain right now. But this is still fairly bullish. So I'd look for one more rally in the New Zealand dollar. Let's move to crude oil. Everyone loves to talk about crude oil. Okay. We see the commercials here have gone. They've covered their long. They're still short, but they have gone a little bit more short than they were. And we saw this move. We called this last week, where we said oil would touch maybe 52 and then drop. So it shouldn't surprise anyone. We saw that coming, and I do think we should see a pullback from this green candle. We should come back down and then get a buy signal. Maybe all the way to 47. It's possible. So I'd be interested in if that comes down a bit, so I can. So basically we're looking for cheaper buys on crude oil. That's it. And small speculator, this is what worries me, is that they've gone short, not short again. Every time this happens, I mean, you see it calls when they go short here, prices did drop, but they went long again. Actually, this is just a zero line. This is not extremely short. This is just a tiny bit. So if they sold here, I mean, at this down move, they started buying. The following week, they bought. All right. They kept buying for the next couple of weeks, which is insane. They were buying into this. That's quite insane. So I'd look for a small pullback in crude oil, and I'd be a buyer. Metals, gold. Again, like the yen, they have reduced their. They have added to their short position just a tiny bit. I still think gold has a move up. Maybe not this week, maybe next week, but I still think gold will go up and possibly fill this gap. But again, if you see the momentums to the upside, then you got to take the chance. We need to be dynamic, So that's for gold. That's for gold. Stock indexes. S&P 500. This is really bullish for the stock market. I do believe it will continue. Basically, we're in a bull market. That's it. I mean, you should be very careful short selling this. The small speculators have gone short again, and these guys have gone, commercials have gone net long. Every time they've gone net long over here, prices rally, they buy into this. See, the thing about the commercials is they like to buy cheap. So what I think will happen is that this is way too expensive. This is a very expensive price for the stock market. I think the S&P 500 will short, and that will provide the strength in the yen and gold, and that is where they will buy again. But for now, it looks like they're bullish. They're bullish. So I'd be careful selling the S&P 500. I'd just take buy signals actually on the Dow Jones. Same thing. See, the last time they were at this level, uh, all the way here, where we got these rallies, but we see always a dip. It's political, but anyway, they buy into this. They buy really cheap. They always take the opportunity to buy cheap. So whatever downside we see, I do believe it will come down. Like the stock market will come down, but possibly back down to these levels or even more. But nothing crazy. It's not like we're entering a bear market. This is still a bull market. You can't miss out on this whole move just to catch like 100-point retracements, 200-point retracements. We see that we saw only one down day in the Dow. It recovered. It's almost at the all-time highs. So this is a very strong bull market. So we need to think like the commercials. We need to buy cheap as well. That's the thing. Anyway, I'll move on to the pairs interested in. Euro USD. I still believe this will short and come down and fill this gap. It's been very, very resilient, very, very resilient, but I still believe it will come down. It will come down. We have been, whoever likes this, we have been overbought for some time. So we'll see what happens with that one. Pound. This one's shorted quite well with us. We called this last week. Open up a daily. Yes, this has come down, and we see a green candle here, but whatever upside, I'd look to sell again. I'm still bearish the pound, so pound USD, I'd be looking to short that. I'll be looking to short this. It's not stubborn anymore. The euro is now stubborn, not the sterling. USD JPY. I think this will short. We'll get maybe one more rally up here, and then we'll go short. That's what I think. I'd wait for the %R to come into overbought. Let me see the daily. Yeah, it should go up just a tiny bit, and then short again. But I'm long the Japanese yen. Next pair. Euro Canadian dollar. I think this will short as well. Any upside, I'd like to sell this. And again, we need to follow oil, right? So look at oil. If oil is beginning to short again, just wait before selling this pair. Keep your eyes on Euro USD and keep your eyes on oil. When Euro USD begins to short, when oil begins to go long, and then you can confidently sell Euro Canadian dollar. And that's quite a lot of pips to come all the way down to fill this gap. But I think these will come down to fill these gap. Euro JPY. Yeah, I think this is also a short. Once we see that the USD JPY starts to short and Euro USD also starts to short, because they do happen at the same time, then this will come down, probably come down. I'm looking for all these pairs, euro pairs, to fill their gaps. Euro, New Zealand. We called this last week too, and this was a terrific trade that worked out, absolutely wonderful. It's come down quite like 300 pips right there. That was a nice, very nice trade, and I do think this will come down and fill this gap too, because they are bullish the New Zealand dollar and heavily bearish the euro. There is actually a gap all the way down here. This was due to some news about the New Zealand interest rate decision. They didn't change it, but because most of the crowd was short this pair, the news didn't really provide any reason for it to go up, but it did anyway. So again, the commercials like to buy cheap. Exactly, so they buy the New Zealand dollar very cheap. That's it. That's all they did. Next one. GBP CAD. I think this will short too. This has shorted quite a bit, but again, look at oil and look at the GBP USD, and you'll get your answers from there. Once oil starts to go up, GBP USD starts to go down, we look to sell this. That's it. Pound CHF. Yeah, we called this one last week too. So this was a wonderful trade. Worked out very nicely, and that's a couple of hundred pips. Whoever took that, I think we will see just a tiny attempt to rally. I wouldn't chase prices. I always advise against chasing prices. So, but I'm still bearish the pound. GBP JPY. Still bearish on this. We did print a weekly upward candle, but I'm still bearish on this. Because I'm bullish on the yen. Commercials are bullish on the yen, bearish on the pound. Any upside? Could see one more tiny rally, and then more downside. So I think there is downside. So take sell signals in the pound yen. Next one. I mean, the same thing goes for most of these pound pairs, like the pound New Zealand. Yeah, same thing. Pound New Zealand's it's the same thing. They're heavily long New Zealand, heavily short the pound. They're all basically like interconnected. USD Mexican peso. This has been very stubborn, and it has come up just a tiny bit from the lows here, and this is actually a very strong support all the way down here. So I'd be careful buying if the candles are down. Okay, you just need to see that the market is actually, buyers are entering the market. That's very important, is that you see that buyers are entering the market. Upward candles. Don't buy on downward candles. Do not buy on downward candles. Do not sell on upward candles. It's just common sense. It's like standing in front of a train, don't do it. It's just not going to work out. Okay, so just wait for the trend to change and get in. Okay, you can miss out on maybe 100 pips or something. It doesn't matter. Okay, you're still gonna catch the rest of the move, and you're probably not gonna miss out on 100 pips. You'll get in, but patience pays. What else do we want to talk about? Okay, a lot of people ask me to talk about this pair, AUD USD. Now I'm mixed with this pair because I am long the Australian dollar, but I'm also long the dollar, so US dollar. So I'm mixed with this. We could see some upside if we see some other dollar weakness, but I'm fairly mixed with this. But with other pairs, I am long the Australian dollar, like Euro AUD, for example. Yeah, this has been relentlessly up. Most of the crowd is selling this pair, so I'd wait for any trend change, and I'd look to short. If we see a fractal pop up here, I'd like to short this. But this will be a nice short, just as soon as the crowd begins to exit euro sells, which is based on the commitment of traders. It seems like they are over here. The euro. It seems that they're buying the euro now, so that's good news for us. So I guess that's it. That's it for this analysis. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next week. If you guys have any questions, you can message me on Telegram. I'm at NIMPIPS, NIMPIPS, my friends. All right. Thank you for watching.